I know a lot of you have already been a part of our Women's Summit here today. So thank you for being here with us and listening to our talks and all the wisdom that we have to share. I'm Coach Allie, one of the Vegan Squad coaches, and I am going to be talking about the keys to longevity for women today. So I'm super excited to talk about this, and I am very passionate about this topic. As a 41-year-old woman who did not start building healthy habits until about 38, I am just here to remind people it's never too late to change your life, to create healthy habits, and to create longevity for yourself. So drop in the comments, say hi, where you're from, what you've liked so far about today's summit, anything that you want to share to break some ice and to get us communicating here with each other. I see some familiar faces. Some of my Vegan Squad team members are here as well. So grateful to all of you who are here to join for this talk. I hope this is something that you walk away feeling much more knowledgeable on, and you drop in any questions that you have. I'm always here to answer any questions and support in any way that I can. Melissa's from Florida. She loves diving into the connection between stress, gut health, and longevity. Yes, so many good topics today, Melissa, right? And you know what's crazy is, or not crazy, but what's amazing actually is they all intertwine with one another. A lot of the things Coach Samara talked about, I'll be talking about as well. And it's just because it's a holistic approach, and that's what we're so passionate about at Vegan Squad. Is it's not just let's get you in shape, it's let's approach life in a holistic way where we are looking at all aspects, and we are rebuilding life in a way that's going to create longevity and health. And so yeah, definitely a lot of our topics are going to intertwine with one another, and you're going to see that. Vic, hello. Thank you for your time from London. Wow. Thank you for being here, Vic. I know there's quite a bit of a time difference, so we appreciate you joining all the way from London. Sangara, she is in Mount Shasta. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go there. I've heard it's a very beautiful place, and it's got some amazing energy. So I would love to hear more about it, Sangara, if you want to share anything about what you love living in Mount Shasta. And you're loving all the information. Yes, and you are 60. Thank you for being here and for taking full advantage of all of these resources. Remember that we have some gifts to share and some free coaching. So if you're interested in any of that, please go ahead and fill out our application. We will drop that in the chat here at the end of the call. We just want to be able to help as many people as possible. So just wanted to bring that in. Samara's from Washington, passionate about all of these topics, and I love how well-rounded our team is with our holistic approach. I couldn't agree more, Samara. We all have our own unique experiences, gifts, and pretty much the life that we've lived that has helped us become who we are here today. But we all do have a very holistic approach, and we've learned along this journey that there's so much more to it than just getting in shape and working out. There's, like you mentioned, there's a whole lifestyle. Lifestyle matters. It's stress, it's sleep, it's nutrition, it's everything. So I'm going to be talking about all those things as well. Ashley from Texas, here to support. Ashley, we love you, and we always appreciate all your support. All right, everybody. Thank you for chiming in and giving some comments. Chanel's from Washington State too. Awesome. So you and Samara are pretty close. I still haven't made it out to Washington. I have told John we traveled quite a bit last year, went all the way to LA and back to Florida, but we didn't make it to Washington. So this year, maybe next year, I'm not sure when, I would love to go visit in Washington and maybe even go to Portland. I've heard there's some amazing vegan food out there that I would love to get my hands on. So I'm always on the hunt for some good vegan food. Wait until spring or summer. I agree. I do not want to go when it's too cold. So thank you for that, Chanel. Shannon is in Tampa. Shannon, I didn't realize you were in Tampa, so you're pretty close to us. That's awesome. Welcome, Shannon. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Let me see if I can share my screen. All right. Let's see. I have so many windows open. I got to make sure I'm sharing the right thing here. Singera said if you're up north, we'll pass through Mount Shasta. Yeah, I'll ask you a little bit more about that later, Sangera. Okay, let me go ahead and get started. Again, guys, I want you to feel free to interact as much as possible. Ask questions. Let me know. I'll be asking you some questions as well. So you can put your comments in the chat, and I'll do my best to keep up with all these different screens that I have going on. So I got to look at the presentation. I have the chat open, and I know I have my amazing team members here to support as well. So just bear with us. All right, so we're going to begin here. So the keys to longevity for women. Today, I want to teach you how to learn to live longer by living better, and this is by making better health choices for yourself. We're going to be talking about longevity, cellular health, and how to live a balanced life, because the truth is longevity thrives in a balanced state, not living in extremes, and I'm all about that. So I'm always trying to find a way to come back to balance in life. A little bit about me here. So I'm Coach Ali Martinez, and this has not switched over. Hold on a second. I think I have to do it this way. All right, that might work. Give me 1 second. Yes, I have all these screens open. Okay, so I'm Coach Ali Martinez, and I am a holistic health coach and a transformation coach. So a little bit about my story is I was in corporate America for about 18 years of my life. I did accounting work, and honestly, I did not enjoy that at all. I did not realize that I went down that path because it was safe and it was a job that had a 401k. It was stable, it was secure. But I didn't realize how much of a people person I was, how much I liked to interact with others. I liked to help others. I liked to learn about healing and health and wellness and fitness and all these things. And so I was on the completely opposite side of the spectrum, you can say. And it took me a while to realize that I needed to make some changes and redirect my whole life, which is why I'm passionate about transformation and changes, because it's never too late. I was in that career for 18 years and I still quit my corporate job and completely went the other direction. So I found yoga. I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of migraines. Sitting at a desk job is not fun. It's not good for our body. I was in my 20s and early 30s, and I felt awful all the time. I was very fatigued and had migraines and had all these issues going on. So I started doing yoga because I wanted to feel good in my body. I wanted to stretch. I wanted mobility. I wanted to help relieve tension. I had a high stress job. So it began with that. Eventually, yoga just brought me into that, what we call the yoke state, where we yoke body, mind, and soul. And so you come into this awareness within yourself and you reconnect to yourself, and then everything changes in your life. So that's how it all started for me, was going to yoga because I was in pain from my corporate job. And then I realized that I did not like my corporate job. I did not want to continue doing that. I wanted to help people feel better. At first, I just wanted to help people in corporate America feel better, relieve stress, get more mobility, do all those things. And so I got certified in yoga in 2020, and I started doing that on the side. So I was still at my corporate job, teaching yoga on the side, helping people relieve stress and move their bodies and feel better. And from there, it evolved, and I realized I did not want to do that corporate job anymore. I wanted to follow my passions. I got a holistic health coach certification, a transformation coach certification, and I started to just really dive deep into finding a way to bring it all together, because I do like all of it, and I think it's all needed when we're making changes. Body, mind, and spirit. We gotta look at all these different pillars and make sure that we are addressing things from a from the body perspective, from the mind perspective, and from connecting back to that spirit within us. So that's what I did. I got certified in all these things. I started to bring that into the yoga studio with me. So while I was helping people just feel better in their bodies, we started talking about lifestyle and habits and what they're eating. And that evolved into me starting to coach people. Eventually, I decided that I wanted to do more coaching than yoga. So now it's flipped into I coach more and then I offer yoga to my clients through what I've learned and just helping them regulate stress. And I also like to play the sound bowls. I offer that in our Vegan Squad community. I also teach yoga there. So I just really enjoy holding space for others to help them relax, unwind, release stress, and move their body so they can feel better. And then also I coach them through lifestyle shifts because we want to help others create sustainable lifestyle shifts for health and wellness and longevity. So I'm all about, the power of presence, mindfulness, breathwork, and living a balanced life, because we cannot thrive when we are stuck in an extreme. We need to find balance. So I'm always that person that's going to remind you, have you slowed down? Have you checked in with yourself? Did you get grounding?
I'm more concerned about your health than with a nut.
Shannon, I think you need to mute yourself unless you were trying to say something to us here. Oh, thank you, Shannon. So yeah, I'm that person that's going to remind you to ground, to slow down, and then listen to your body. Our bodies are not meant to thrive on go, go, go every single day. So there are moments when we're going to push hard and we're going to work hard, and there's moments where we need to slow down. I like to help people get unstuck and empower themselves. And I do this by teaching you. So I teach you everything I've learned. I help you through, all the lifestyle shifts that you're looking to incorporate in your life. And like I said earlier, I did not start creating healthy habits until I was 38. Actually, when I was younger, I was a smoker. I come from a family of smokers. A lot of people were drinking alcohol or they were alcoholics. There was just a lot of toxicity growing up, and a lot of the people in my family ended up with health conditions. There's a lot of diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity. And so as I was looking around, I'm realizing that they say there's genetics and, look at your family. That's pretty much what's going to end up happening to you. And I realized I don't want to end up like that. So I need to do something different. I can't eat the same way. I can't, have those same habits that they have and not incorporate movement and fitness, because I see what's happening to my family, and that lifestyle is deteriorating them, and there's no longevity for them. They just think, as we get older, this is what happens. It's genetic. We get older, we can't move. We don't have the stamina or the energy. And I was like, this can't be it. There has to be more. And so that's why I've dived deep into longevity, and I want to learn so much, because I believe that we can empower ourselves with knowledge and wisdom. And we know, through that wisdom and that knowledge, we can implement it into our lives, and we can change our lives. So my goal is to help others transform their lives by building longevity and feeling their best, because it's never too late to make changes. Any questions or anything that you guys want to chime in, feel free to bring it up now. So I'm going to begin by asking you, what is longevity? This is a word we use quite a bit, and sometimes we might not know exactly what that means. So if anybody wants to take a stab at it and put it in the comments here, what does longevity mean to you when you hear that word? I'm here to talk about longevity, but also there's so much more to longevity than we think. Anybody here want to go ahead and put something in the comments? We got Melissa: having as high quality of life as possible for as long as possible. That is a great definition, Melissa. Yes. So yes, longevity is so much more than just living longer. Because yes, longevity is all about increasing the number of years of life, but we don't want to just increase the years of life. We want to increase the life to our years, right? Who wants to live longer if we're not going to live better, if we're going to be in poor health? So yes, longevity is about adding years to our life, but we really want to add life to our years and we want to feel good and healthy. This is why longevity is about health span. So now the next question is, well, what is health span? This is a word that maybe you haven't heard. It hasn't been around as long as longevity. We've talked about longevity and wanting to live longer, but what is, and we know what lifespan is, you know, having more life, more years. So what is health span? Anybody wants to drop in the comments? I just love to have you engaging here and giving me some feedback and letting me know what your thoughts are, because we all think of these words in different ways and how it applies in our lives. So anybody here want to drop some comments in? I know normally when we ask, we get the crickets. That's what we talk about. Thank you, Wolf. Longevity is building the skills and habits to stay capable and self-sustainable. Yes, very, very true. We see it in the elderly. A lot of them are not in a place where they can take care of themselves or support themselves, and they need a lot of help. So yes, we want to increase our lifespan and the years of our life here, but we also want to be in good health. Samara said, health span equals how long you are healthy for. Yes. So that brings me to this next slide. Health span is all about the amount of years that we can be in good health. So we don't just want to live longer, but we want to live in good health. We want to stay vibrant and mobile. We want to be mentally sharp and physically healthy for as long as possible. And we don't want to fall into that trap that says, well, that's just not possible. As we get older, we're going to, you know, lose our mobility and our mental sharpness, and we're just not going to be as physically healthy. Yeah, to some extent, that's true, but we're seeing that happen very, very early. And there's plenty of people out there that are in their 70s and they're still able to hike and go to the gym and build muscle. So I see those people, and they are definitely my heroes. And they remind me that even though we see a population of elderly people that are not having great health span, there is still possibility. And it all just comes down to our lifestyle choices, right? So the goal here with health span is we want to be in good health. We want to feel good in our bodies for as long as possible. We want a good quality of life. And that all begins with the choices we make every single day, what we put into our bodies, what we eat, and, you know, the habits that we have. On this next slide here, I want to talk about the pillars that make up longevity. So these pillars are all intertwined and they correlate one with the other. And you'll see that as I go deeper into each topic here, but one always affects the other. So if we're lacking in one or we're struggling with one, we're most likely having, you know, some issues down the line with others, and they're all work together synergistically. So let's begin with muscle mass. I put this one first because this is by far one of the most important ones when it comes to longevity. And for us women, I know Samara already talked about this quite a bit in her last talk. Thank you, Coach Samara. Muscle mass is it's so important. Muscle mass equals longevity. And women, especially over 40, we've been taught that muscle mass is not important for us. We just need to stay small and thin and do cardio and be feminine and gentle. And, you know, just it wasn't a big thing for women back then. And I see it a lot with clients, and for women around my age, they're afraid of getting bulky. They're afraid of lifting heavy. They're afraid of getting hurt. And we just need to break these stereotypes, because the science is out there, and muscle mass is a metabolic organ, and muscle mass equals longevity. And in order for us to prevent sarcopenia, which is the age-related progressive condition that leads to the loss of muscle mass and strength, we need to build muscle, and we need to start early, because after 30, we start to lose muscle mass. And it's also harder for us to maintain our muscle. So if we're not out there focusing on resistance training and actually, you know, creating that hypertrophy in the gym when we're working out, we're most likely not building muscle. It's one thing to go to the gym for more of an aesthetic look, and you're doing lots of sets and reps and lightweight, but that's not really going to build muscle. We need to push harder. We need to push heavier on the weights. We need to really develop that bone density. And, you know, the loss of muscle mass is something that can lead to insulin resistance, frailty, falls, especially for women over 40. We see this a lot in older women. They end up having hip fractures and they have to go into a nursing home or get assisted living. And so in order to avoid that, we need to start as early as possible to put in the work into preserving our muscle mass and building our muscle mass. So what does that look like? If you're not someone that's very familiar with building muscle mass, I didn't even start working out in the gym until just 2 years ago. So I was all about yoga and Pilates, all into the feminine, more relaxing, soothing workouts. And I didn't lift any weights. I had no desire for it. I didn't realize the importance of it. Now I'm like super passionate about it, especially that I'm 41 and I know that the time is ticking and I need to put in the work now to see the benefits in the long run. So what does this look like for us to be able to build our muscle mass? Well, it's recommended to train resistance training at least 2 to 4 times a week and to prioritize compound movements and lower body strength. So this is our hips and our glutes and our quads. This is going to really help build our bone density and improve our balance as we get older, and also adequate protein intake. So there's a lot of theories out there about how much protein do we actually need. And it varies. The science is still changing, you know, as we evolve, we're realizing that the numbers keep changing quite a bit, but I would say approximately 1 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of your ideal body weight is a good place to be for a good health. I had never counted my protein when I was younger, worried about that. Ever since I've started tracking protein and hitting the gym and pushing my body, I've been able to build substantial muscle mass, and I've realized a huge change in my physique. So I know that it's definitely something that's working for me. I feel so much stronger. I feel so much more capable. I used to have really bad scoliosis, and I would go to the chiropractor and get all this massage work done, and somehow I'd end up with the same issues because I wasn't building muscle. Without the skeletal muscle, we're not going to hold our skeletal system in place. So muscle mass is important for so many things. It's going to help improve bone density, heart health, brain health. It's going to help with hormonal health. It helps with our posture. It helps in so many ways. So this is something that I always want to push my clients for, is let's get you into resistance training, not just cardio or even HIIT training. We want actual resistance training with weights, and we want to track it and progressively overload every week to make sure you're getting stronger. Wolf said, is there ever a point when it's too late to start strength training, or can building muscle benefit us at any age? Good question, Wolf. Thank you. It is never too late to start, honestly. Somebody asked me, I was on a call this week and somebody asked me, is it too late for me? And I told her, it is never too late. It is never too late to start building muscle, building healthy habits, eating healthier, making changes in your life. Empower yourself by saying, today is as good of a day as ever to start. So get in the gym and start working on it and start building that muscle. It might take a little bit more effort or strategic work on your part if you're older, and maybe like making sure that you're really tracking your protein and you're definitely progressively overloading and all the other things you need to help build muscle, which is the good sleep and recovery. So there's a lot of different things. You might have to be a little more strategic as we get older, but it's not too late. You can always build muscle. Optimizing metabolic health is the next pillar that I want to talk about. Our metabolism, our hormonal health, and how that all affects longevity. So when I'm talking about metabolic health, I'm talking about balancing your blood sugars and your hormones. And that looks like eating a balanced meal every 3 to 4 hours. This is something that I will say a lot of people struggle with. We live in a very busy society where go, go, go. We forget to eat. I thought as a coach, the most thing that I was going to have to help people with was to eat less. And honestly, it's been the complete opposite. I've had to really help people eat more because people are afraid to eat. They're afraid of gaining weight. They're afraid of, they're like, I don't need that much food. I rather eat less, or they're just too busy and they're stressed. And when you're busy and you're stressed, you forget to eat. You forget to take care of you, and you bypass your hunger cues. Or sometimes because you're stressed, it affects your gut, and then your stomach's a little off. Or if we're taking certain medications, that can throw off our appetite. If we've been dieting for years and we've down-regulated our metabolism and it's slower, then we might not get as hungry. And so I've realized as a coach, the best thing I can do is help people feel safe to eat again, and to eat nourishing foods, to re-nourish their body, to nourish their nervous system, their metabolism, and realize that it's okay to eat more. It's okay to take care of your body. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be afraid of fats and carbs, and you don't have to have this worry and this fear around food. Let's reframe the mindset that we have around food, and let's look at it as fuel, because that's what it is. Let's look at it as nourishment. Let's stop being afraid of it causing a weight issue, and let's look at it as, how is this going to nourish my body and help me heal and recover and build new cells, muscle cells and skin cells, and give me energy so that I can be active and go to the gym and go on my walks and be present with my family and have enough energy to live and enjoy my life. So yeah, I'm always encouraging people to eat more. Another way that you can optimize your metabolic health is by walking after meals. That is great for insulin sensitivity. It helps stabilize blood sugar. A lot of conditions happen from blood sugars being on a roller coaster. When we don't eat for a long period of time, our blood sugar drops, and then we eat and our blood sugar rises. If we're not doing those balanced meals where we're balancing out the proteins, the carbs, and the fats, then a lot of the times when we eat, it could spike up our blood sugar really quickly. And then that makes us produce a lot of insulin to help bring down the blood sugar level. And then we bring down our blood sugar level and it drops, and then we don't eat for a while, and then we spike it back up. So as you can see, the body can go through all this chaos and this roller coaster. And that just really affects our hormones and our metabolism. So eating these balanced meals and then walking after a meal are great ways that you can support your metabolic health. I already talked about this, but making sure you're eating enough calories to support your metabolism, that is a huge one. I'm seeing so much now that people have been living off of 1,200 calories for so long, and they're barely eating, and then they're pushing super hard at the gym, or they're doing tons of cardio because they just want, they're still thinking, energy in versus energy out. So the least amount of energy I bring in, but if I put out a lot of energy, then the math means I'm going to lose weight. And our body just is smarter than that. That might work temporarily at first, but in the long run, all it does is really wreak havoc in our metabolism. And then our body fights back and it holds on to the fat, and it doesn't want to, it will not lose weight. And it's just going to be harder for you to reach the goals that you're looking for. So again, making sure that you're eating enough to support your metabolism, making sure that you're choosing nutrient dense foods. So we don't just want to eat more. We want to choose the foods that are going to actually nourish the body. We want to choose some healthy fats. We want to have enough lean protein. We want to eat healthy carbs that are going to stabilize our blood sugar. So these are more slow digesting carbs like brown rice, quinoa, beans, and oats. And we want to choose a lot of micronutrient foods like lots of fruits and veggies, and just really colorful foods, incorporating it into every meal. Like Coach Samara was talking about, this is all important for our gut health, and we know how important our gut microbiome is, and we need to choose foods that are going to nourish our gut microbiome, and also just choose the foods that have the most, I call them nutrient dense foods, the most nutrition. So the amount of calories you're taking, there's a lot of nutrients in those calories versus just choosing empty calories. So the food choices are a big deal for us. It's not just eat more. It's what are we eating and what are we choosing to eat? The next thing that I wrote down here is getting enough sleep. That's another big one that a lot of people struggle with. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is usually the recommended amount. I know some people do fine with 5 or 6 hours. And if you have some kind of tracker or something that tells you, gives you a sleep score, I use a Fitbit. Sometimes that can help because, for example, I usually sleep 7 to 9 hours and it's great. I wake up, I feel like I've recovered. I was really sore from the gym when I went to bed, and then I wake up and I feel like, okay, it feels good now. Like I feel like my body has been able to recover. But I did notice recently I only slept 5 hours, which is rare. And I still had like a sleep score of like 81 and I felt pretty good that day. So sometimes, yeah, we don't need the full 7 to 9 hours. It's really about, are we getting into a deep enough sleep, a restful sleep where restoration's happening and the body's able to regenerate and clean up and do all the things, the housekeeping that it needs to do while we sleep. Regulating our stress levels and maintaining healthy cortisol levels. Cortisol, the stress hormone, we hear about that so much, and we know that a lot of people struggle with having high cortisol. Cortisol has its purpose in our lives. It helps us wake up in the morning. That's why our cortisol is usually higher in the morning. And that's why we usually say don't have coffee on an empty stomach, because you already wake up with a high cortisol. And then if you drink some coffee, you're just going to increase the stress in your body. What your body needs is actually food, especially some protein in the morning. But yeah, cortisol has its purpose. The issue is when it doesn't start to down regulate. So it's okay that it spikes up every once in a while, but we also need it to be able to come down throughout the day. So it starts off high and then it needs to slowly come down. And that's healthy. There's a test that you can do. It's called a Dutch test. And this is a great test to check your cortisol throughout the day instead of just checking it one time in the morning. Usually if you go get your blood work drawn in the morning, your cortisol is probably going to be a little bit high. So if you're concerned about cortisol, I would suggest taking that Dutch test. Cortisol has so many things. It can cause a lot of inflammation in the body. It can cause stubborn belly fat. So if you're in that place where you're unsure, you're feeling very stressed, or you're trying to lose weight and it's not working, I would suggest definitely checking your cortisol levels. And the last thing I wrote here is to stay active, to move your body. So walking, exercising, moving in any way that feels good for you. It doesn't always have to be hitting the gym. It can be a bike ride, rollerblade, go on a walk, anything, dancing, whatever way that you enjoy moving your body, just making sure that you're not living a sedentary lifestyle. We live in this epidemic of a lot of sedentary lifestyles. Like people are really struggling with health because they live a very sedentary life. They have these desk jobs, they sit all day, they're not moving enough, and they get home and they're tired and they don't want to go to the gym or go on a walk. And that is just as bad as stress on our overall health. So definitely get moving, volunteer for something that you can do in your community to help you stay active and make it fun. It doesn't always have to be strength training. Strength training is great. And we talk about needing to improve muscle mass, but you want to also enjoy movement in other ways. Chanel said, even the saliva over the course of the day, blood cortisol test is just a snapshot of that moment. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you there. This is why it's important. If cortisol is something that you're concerned about, definitely you want to get it tested throughout the day. You don't want to just do a blood test that takes a snapshot of that moment. So yes, thank you, Chanel. The next pillar of health that I wanted to touch on is hormonal balance. So I'm always going to preach, listen to your body. Listening to your body here, support your hormones. Supporting your hormones is going to improve your metabolic health too. Those are definitely intertwined. And same thing here. How do we do it? We support it by eating balanced meals with plenty of micronutrients. Again, eat those balanced meals, making sure you're getting a good amount of protein, fiber, and healthy fats in every meal so that your blood sugar stays stable, so that you feel full and you're actually able to turn off those hunger cues and you're not feeling hungry again in an hour. And then you can go 3 to 4 hours without even thinking about food, because your body has all the nourishment that it needs to just to keep moving, to build the hormones that it needs. And then you're not like finding yourself going to the kitchen to just snack. You're feeling satisfied. Maintaining your blood sugar levels throughout the day, getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, regulating your stress and cortisol levels. So a lot of the same things for metabolic health you'll see here for hormonal balance. These are all things that are important for us, especially women, to balance our hormones. A lot of women that I work with, you know, they're in perimenopause or menopause, and they're dealing with hormonal imbalances. And I will say a common theme is a lot of women are they're working a lot, they're working out, they're go. They're not sleeping enough, they're not eating enough, and they are running around throughout the day without food. And then they come home and then they're starving, and then they just eat a bunch of food because they haven't eaten most of the day. And at that point, you know, your body has been functioning on cortisol most of the day. It's been in fight or flight mode. Your hormones are kind of all over the place. So coming home and just binging on food is not going to help fix what was done earlier in the day. And then the next day repeats itself again. So it's just a domino effect that will lead to a long-term issue with our hormones in the long run. And so the best way to support ourselves through perimenopause or menopause is going to be by supporting ourselves with these balanced meals every 3 to 4 hours, and making sure we're keeping our blood sugars stable and regulating our stress levels. Practicing various forms of movement. Again, the walking, resistance training, any type of movement that gets you getting your blood flowing and your energy going. That's all going to help you so much with your hormone balance. And then I kind of already talked about this, avoid going at the same speed all month. Especially for us women, we are cyclical. We do not run as men do on a 24 cycle. We run on a 28-day cycle. So men are running on a 24-hour cycle. So every 24 hours they're cycling through, and that's why they feel almost the same every day, where they can wake up and they have the most energy in the morning, and then it slowly dwindles down until the end of the night when their energy is low, and then the next morning they wake up and they start all over again. For women, it's almost like 4 weeks. So there's 1 week where you're feeling great and you're energetic. There's a second week where you're still pretty good with your energy. You're feeling creative and you're feeling strong. And then the third week, you're probably already feeling like, I'm ready to slow down a little bit and take it a little bit easier. And then we go through the fourth week where we're menstruating, and then we really need to just slow down and listen to our body. So unfortunately, we don't live in a world or a society that caters to the woman's 28-day cycle. And so it's hard for women to really listen to their bodies when the world is just moving at a speed and a pace that they feel forced to keep up with. But when I work with women, I always try to encourage them to do their best to listen to their bodies and notice when they need to take it a little bit slower. Every day at the gym is not a PR day. There's going to be times when you go to the gym, and that's going to be more just for movement and blood flow and just maybe mental health. But it's not always going to be, let me push to failure. Every day is not going to be, let me push and be super productive and work, 10 hours a day. So really just focusing on listening to your body and giving yourself grace when you need it. That's going to really help you with your hormonal balance. I know I've been talking a lot, so if anybody wants to drop any comments or has any questions, please feel free. I always like to be interactive with all of you, so yes. Next pillar here is nervous system regulation. Our coach, Melissa, she does so many workshops and masterclasses and helps a lot of our team members and even the members in the community with nervous system regulation. I like to offer sound bath meditation. So any way that you can help practice, to regulate your nervous system and come out of that fight or flight mode. You can do this through meditation, through breath work, just practicing some grounding, which that means just going outside and sitting in nature and really connecting to the earth and just slowing things down. All these little things are going to help you regulate your stress and reduce your cortisol level. Getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep is crucial for regulating your nervous system. Getting some morning light exposure is also great because it really helps you move with the circadian rhythm of the earth. We are meant to wake up when the sun rises and go to sleep when the sun sets. And that's when our melatonin produces, is at night. So the more in line we can live with that cycle of nature, the better our nervous system will be regulated. Obviously, life happens and some people work night shifts and they don't have a choice. And they're probably a little bit on the reverse of things. And, you know, they can still figure out ways to work with that. But for the majority, we definitely want to try to work with nature, and we want to rise in the morning, get that morning sunlight. That's letting our body know that it's morning and it's time to wake up. And then when the sun sets, it's time to produce that melatonin and get ready for sleep. That's why a lot of the times when we need a sleep routine, we say, start dimming your lights down by like 8 o'clock at night, start turning music low, or putting like just more meditation type music, just light some candles, like create this ambiance in your environment to help you regulate your nervous system and let your body know that it's getting close to that time for sleep. If we're like constantly on our phones and the computer and we have all these blue lights and all these things that are like very stimulating to the nervous system, it's going to be hard for us to bring calmness and peace and let the body know that it's almost time for rest. Another one that I also like to bring up is to avoid excessive HIIT training. So that's high intensity training, especially during high stress phases or during phases when you're not meant to be doing so much. This is a big thing. We have a lot of those team classes out there, and women love it because, you know, we're in a community. It's fun. We get to engage with others and we're working out together. But honestly, doing that too much is just, it's going to wreak havoc on our bodies and our hormones. It takes us women a lot longer to recover from those HIIT training sessions, and doing that more than once a week can really just be impacting cortisol and creating more stress in the body, which is going to work against your weight loss goals. So I usually advise my clients, if you really, really want to do any HIIT training classes, keep it to a minimum of like once a week. But really where you're going to exceed and reach your goals is doing the strength training. So definitely we don't want to be taxing out our system with HIIT training very regularly every week. And another way you can regulate the nervous system is connecting with loved ones. So connecting with your loved ones, family, friends, pets, whoever you feel so much love for, spending time with them, hugging, talking about things that you're passionate about, creating a safe environment for yourself. You know, all these things are so important. Yes, stress is good sometimes for us to get us moving and get things done and that sense of urgency, but we have to have moments where we down regulate and we ground and we practice mindfulness and breath work and meditation and just this feeling of safety in our bodies to relax and unwind. Kennedy said, for the HIIT training portion, is there a specific time limit that we should be adhering to? Are you asking a time limit like when you're doing a HIIT training class, or time limit in the times that you're doing HIIT training a week? If you're doing a HIIT training class, in the class, okay. Yes, I would definitely suggest not to go more than like 30 minutes. Like 20, 30 minutes is more than enough. A whole hour of HIIT training is gonna be a lot. It's very taxing on the body. So 30 minutes is, and this is like not 30 minutes the entire time. You want to, when you're doing HIIT training, you're doing it in intervals. So you're probably going hard for 2 minutes and then you're taking, you know, a 1 to 2 minute break. Your body doesn't need more than 20 to 30 minutes of that. I would just suggest avoiding anything more than 30 minutes. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for the question. All right, the next pillar is supporting cellular health. So in this one is where on the last talk I did talk about telomeres and telomere health. And this one I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple, but cellular health is like the health of our cells. So we have our chronological age and then we have a biological age. I can be 41 and have a biological age of somebody who's 25. And this is because of the health choices, the habits that I have created for myself. So it is possible to be younger biologically on a cellular level than our chronological age. And this is all through the lifestyle that we live. And small changes lead to a big impact. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It's these little small choices every day that we make that are going to help create and support cellular health for ourselves. So again, we're back to the regular movement. Avoid sedentary lifestyle. Be mobile, exercise, walk, dance, do things you love, get moving, do your strength training, build your muscle mass. That is a great longevity tool. Eat anti-inflammatory foods and plant-based foods. A lot of plant-based foods are anti-inflammatory. On a plant-based and vegan diet, you're going to be getting tons of anti-inflammatory foods. And why do we want that? Because that's going to help reduce inflammation in the body. And inflammation in the body leads to a lot of chronic and health conditions. So the more anti-inflammatory foods we're eating, the better that we're going to be on the better our health will be on a cellular level. And anti-inflammatory foods, these are greens, berries, apples. We have like avocado, just lots of plant-based whole food options. And when you're choosing your carbs, you want to choose more of these slow digesting carbs like our sweet potatoes and oats and brown rice and quinoa and things like that. And this is really going to help in the body reduce inflammation. We have a lot of things that cause inflammation in the body from, the stress that we live and the foods and the toxins in the environment. So we are always looking to incorporate more anti-inflammatory foods so that we can help balance that out. Welcome to all the newcomers that have joined us. We are talking about the keys to longevity. Feel free to make any comments or ask any questions in the chat. Next here we have getting enough restorative sleep. Again, we've talked about that quite a bit here. So making sure that you're getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep, giving yourself that time to recover on a cellular level, because when we're sleeping, again, the body's doing its housekeeping. It's cleaning up, it's reducing inflammation, it's helping rebuild our muscles after working out so hard. I can't even tell you how many times I go to bed and I say, oh my gosh, I'm so sore everywhere. I do not know how I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. Like I just feel sore everywhere. There's just no way. And then I sleep my 7 to 8 hours and I wake up and I'm refreshed. And I'm like, wow, I actually feel like I recovered pretty well during that sleep. So making sure that you're getting that restorative sleep to reduce your stress, to recover on a health level, that is so crucial and so important. And I've worked with a lot of women who they just have a really hard time with the sleep because they have so much going on and they can't get to bed early enough. And then they have to wake up early because they have a baby or they have, kids, and they have to get them ready for school and they have to make breakfast and lunch. So I see it happen so much with women. They're compromising on their sleep and it's really hard for them to get that schedule. I think last time I talked about this a little bit. Don't underestimate the power of a nap. If you can fit a nap in somewhere because you're having a really hard time getting enough sleep at night, Bridget, I was just going to talk about naps. Yes, they do count. They do, especially if they're very restful. So it's one thing to just lay there and take a nap and then you wake up and you're more tired. It's another thing to go take a nap and wake up and feel like, wow, I feel like I just slept 4 hours and maybe I slept 30 minutes. So don't underestimate the power of a nap. I used to, when I had time to do these things, I would like, okay, I'm going to take a little nap. I'm feeling tired right now. I'd put some meditation music on with some headphones and I'd take a 20 to 30 minute nap unintentionally. I didn't even set a timer, but that's all my body needed. I went into a slower brainwave. I don't think I was like even fully asleep, or maybe I was, but within 20 minutes I popped out of that and I was like brand new. And I felt so much better and I had like a second wind where I can keep going for the rest of the day. So yes, if you can fit a nap in there at any point in your day. When I had my corporate job, I would take a nap at lunch sometimes and I would go, I'm all about stacking habits. So I would leave work. I'd go find a tree somewhere. I'd sit under the tree. So I'm grounding, I'm meditating, I'm doing my breath work. I'm getting rid of all the stress. And then I close my eyes and I lean up against the tree and I take a little nap. And 20 minutes later, I feel brand new. And then I go back to work and, it kind of messed things up for me once I was back in that environment. But it was a great way for me to recharge and then have a second wind to get through the rest of my day. Bridget said, I sometimes lay on the floor of my office at work during my lunch hour. Don't actually sleep often, but I do feel better. Yes, you're grounding in that moment. So you're definitely grounding. You're releasing all that overstimulation, and then you're practicing mindfulness and maybe a little breath work. So that's great. I love that you do that and that you don't care what people think and you just lay on the floor in your office and take care of you. That lunch hour is for you to do whatever you need to. So if it's a nap, go for it. You shut the door. Yes. Hey, you know what? I love that you have an office that you can do that. The next thing here is practice nervous system regulation, which we talked about, and connect with others. Humans thrive from connection and purpose, which is why we love having the Vegan Squad community, because we have a community of amazing, like-minded and empowering individuals on a health and fitness journey, wanting to make the world a better place. So it's just a beautiful space to be in, to get that connection and that community feel. Obviously, you can also connect with others, family and friends that are actually in your environment. And hugs are great. Hugging someone releases all these feel-good hormones and feelings of safety. So don't underestimate the power of a hug, or spending time with a loved one, or being in the Vegan Squad community and just connecting with others. And also just remembering that purpose is so important for humans. If you're just living life, checking off the boxes and doing the to-dos, the responsibilities, the priorities, taking care of everybody else, but you don't make time for you and to take care of things that matter to you and finding purpose, then there's always going to be this empty feeling within you. And finding what is your passion, finding what feels like purpose to you. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to be the president or I'm going to open a multi-million-dollar company. Purpose can literally be just showing up and giving someone really good advice and helping change the trajectory of their day. And your purpose can change, every day. It can change consistently. It's not going to always be the same. So I always like to tell people, do something that fills your cup. Take time to connect with you and what is going to fill your cup today, what is going to give you purpose or help you feel like you've taken time to take care of you. Wolf said, how can I support my wife more? What actions truly empower a woman to live a longer, more vibrant life? Well, first I will say the best person to ask that question to would be your wife directly. But I will say that women, we thrive off of feeling like we have a good support system and we are not taking care of everything on our own. It's not always about the material things or the fancy things. Sometimes there's dishes in the sink, just do them. Don't wait, for her to take care of them, or ask her, have you taken a break? Do you need me to bring you a cup of tea? Just being thoughtful. I think women really, really enjoy that, is when you take time to think about their needs and what could they need in that moment, or how can you support them? How can you take something off their back because they're carrying a lot, or just asking them, just checking in with them, being like, if they're stressed out about something, sometimes just say, hey, it's okay. You know what? I can handle this. Go take care of you. Take some time for you. And I think that's something that all women are going to say that they love, because we are carrying a lot and we are taking care of everyone else. And having somebody come and take care of you and ask you, how are you doing? What can I do to support you in this moment? Or just even being thoughtful and like, oh, this person really loves tea, or they really love plants, or they really love a home cooked meal. Surprise them with those things. You don't even have to ask, do you want this? No, just, hey, honey, I made dinner today. You just have to sit down and eat it. Hey, honey, I bought this beautiful new plant for you because I went to the store and I thought of you. Like, those little moments and acts of kindness, they go a long way. And Wolf, thank you for asking that, because I think more men need to be asking that about their wives. On this next slide, your body is listening. I always like to talk about the trillions of cells in our body and the little antennas that they have, and they're listening and they're picking up on all the noise around us and within us. And every choice sends a signal to these cells. So we're speaking to our cells, and we're speaking every choice we make, or the way we're speaking, is going to either communicate safety or stress. And this is where the nervous system comes in. And sometimes you can be in a safe environment, but just your thoughts are going into a fearful or anxious place, and that is going to communicate stress to your body and to your cells. So we have to focus on, creating safety for ourselves within our mind, within our environment. A lot of the times, because I grew up in a very chaotic home, and my childhood there was just a lot of screaming and fighting and a lot of chaos. And I was always like on edge. I was always feeling like on edge or afraid of what's going to happen next, or is there going to be a fight or an argument? And I was very, like, any little noise I would make, I was like always over, I was always afraid that something was going to happen, or I was on edge. I was very hyper aware of my surroundings and my environment. And it took me a very long time, yoga helped me a lot with that, to come out of that state, because I was constantly having to protect myself or be careful with what's going to happen. And a lot of the times is I just the one thing that I did to really help me with this is I would just put my hand over my heart, and I would breathe deeply, and I'd slow down. I'm like, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. It is okay. Everything is okay. And so just reminding yourself of that, letting your body know it's okay. Like, even when I started working out, or when I did red light therapy in the sauna, red light sauna, I used to be like, oh, I don't want to put my body through too much stress. I had been through so much stress in my life, and I was all about peace and yoga and being zen. And I didn't want to stress my body in any way. And then I learned there's eustress, which is good stress, and our body actually needs a little bit of stress. So when I work out, I tell my body, like, don't be afraid of pushing hard. Let's get this set in. And then I'm like, when I'm done, I'm like, while I'm doing it, I can do hard things. I'm stronger than I think. And when I'm done, I'm like, see, I'm safe. I'm okay. I did that. I'm stronger than I give myself credit for. So support yourself. Support yourself through your mindset, the way you talk to yourself. Support yourself through how the food choices that you're making. Support yourself through getting your movement, your rest, and being positive. All of this is going to build longevity in the long run. The goal with longevity is not just, creating life for yourself, the years on your life. It's extending your life, but in good health, with good positive mindset and a support, knowing that you got you and that you're taking care of yourself. And every food choice we make is communicating to ourselves and our body. So when we're choosing the healthy, nourishing foods, we're communicating with our body. We're letting our body know, like, here is medicine, here is nourishment. We're giving our body the fuel. It's like when you go to the gas station and you're putting gas in your car, you have different options and different levels of gas. If you're constantly putting the really cheap gas and it's not clean, and you're giving it a quarter of a gallon, and then you're expecting your car to run for 300 miles and be very efficient, it's probably not going to be the most efficient. But if we're giving it the best gas, the premium, and we're filling our tank, this is the way I look at food. Choose the premium foods. Fill your tank with, all the macros that you need, the macros and the micros that you need, so that your body can function as efficiently as possible. All right. I wrote down here, it's to deepen through daily choices and habits. So longevity it's a long game. It's a lifestyle. We are creating it with every choice that we make, with every habit that we're using to support longevity. There's not one trick or one magic pill. It's not a cold plunge or intermittent fasting one time. It's through the lifestyle we live, the way we talk to ourselves, the food choices we make, the support system we have, the people we surround ourselves with, and all of that is going to create the longevity for the long haul. When you support your telomere health and you regulate stress and you build your strength and you create balance, you can create a life that feels vibrant and meaningful to you. And then here I have balance, which is the missing link. A lot of us learn these new things and then we want to go and push really hard and not give ourselves enough time to rest and recover and find balance, because we think slowing down means we're going to miss something or we're not going to reach the goal. But the key to longevity is creating a balanced life and avoiding extremes. So we don't want to live in this extreme mentality. We want to push hard at the gym. We want to be productive at work, but we also want to make time to spend time with loved ones, to ground in nature, to connect with ourselves and see what are our needs, how are we feeling, journal our emotions, get our restful sleep. So just finding ways where you can continue to create balance in your life so that you can support longevity and do all of the things that are going to help you feel better every day. Because again, we want a good quality of life. And I always come back to nature. Nature teaches us this. It teaches us through seasons. Life is meant to ebb and flow and move with consistency and avoid extremes. That's why we have different seasons. We don't have summer all year. We don't have winter all year. So just like nature thrives cyclically through different seasons and it ebbs and flows, that's exactly how our body is going to thrive. All right, so this comes up to the end of my talk here. If anybody has any questions or has anything that they learned here today that they find very valuable that they want to share, feel free to drop that in the comments. I hope that I shed some light on some things here about longevity and health, so that you guys know a little bit more. I know we've talked about this quite a bit today. We have our own vegan squad coaching method, and we are all about looking at things in a holistic perspective. So we're here to give you the custom nutrition plan or macros that you need to help you reach your goals, to help you hit your protein. We're here to give you the training plan and watch your form and make sure you're executing that and creating the best, training that you can so you can build muscle for longevity. We are here to help you stay consistent and and hold you accountable so that you can reach your goals, because you're investing in yourself when you invest in a coach. And we want to make sure that your investment here is going to go it's going to be the best investment you ever make. And we're here to bring it all together to help you see the results, to create the sustainable lifestyle shifts so that you can build a life of longevity and good quality of life. And we know that it takes looking at things from a holistic approach. There's not one magic pill. There's not one quick fix. We're all about creating sustainable lifestyle shifts. There is no, let me just get you in the best shape of your life in 30 days. Because that's not going to last. So when you work with any of our coaches, we are going to help you create sustainable lifestyle shifts and make sure that you're taking care of yourself, body, mind, and soul, and you're taking time to do all of the things that are going to help you increase your health and your wellness and, support your longevity. I have my amazing coach Samara here. She put in the application. We are offering some free one-on-one coaching to the first 5 people that fill out our coaching form. If you fill this form out, we will definitely reach out to you to get on a call, talk about your goals and how we can support you and learn a little bit more about you. We also have the VIP tickets for the summit. So if you or anyone you know can benefit from any of this information that we've been sharing with you today, if you know anyone that can benefit from it, please, check out that link. You can buy these videos, you can share it with others. We are offering a ton of value here today from all of the coaches, and we want you to have this information with you so that if you forget anything, I know there's a lot of information in one day, and sometimes you need to go back and rewatch things. So this is a great resource for you to have. You can give it as a gift to someone else who's wanting to start a health and wellness journey, and they want to, they don't know where to start and they're feeling overwhelmed, and maybe they're not ready to invest in a coach right now, but they want as much free information and resources as possible. So again, check out the VIP tickets and make sure you fill out the form for the free coaching. I mean, who doesn't want free coaching, right? You get a month of free coaching, you get to learn from our coaches, and you also get to have somebody there to support you on your journey and help you hold yourself accountable. Thank you all for being here, for listening to the talk. and being present. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I will be on here for a few more minutes if anybody wants to chat with me or share anything that they learned or anything at all. I'll be here. I also want to let you know that our next talk is going to be by Coach Samira. She is going to be talking about building an hourglass figure, getting stronger, and boosting your metabolism. And then after her call, we have Coach Alexis is going to be hopping on at 8:30 Eastern time. And hers is going to be about secrets to booty building, grow your glutes masterclass. So Coach Samira is going to be on at 5:30 and Alexis is going to be on at 8:30. So we have some time here in between. So you guys can take a little break and hop back on, catch Coach Samira talking again, sharing so much of her wisdom and expertise. And
like I didn't want to bother you guys in the car.
You don't want to miss out on
the light was off for last time when I plugged it in.
Mel, I believe you're unmuted. Vic, you're so welcome.
Sorry.
No. You're so welcome, Vic. Thank you so much for dropping a comment and being present here. And I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation. So yeah, anybody else, if you want to drop in a comment or talk, you can come off mute and share anything. We're all here to connect and communicate with one another. We will be here for a little bit longer, but I know some of us are going to hop off and take a little break so that we can get ready for our next call, which is going to be in an hour. Wolf, Ali, thank you very much. You are amazing. I always love listening to you all. Thank you, Wolf. Thank you so much for always being here and supporting and engaging and for all that you do. And I hope that you go home and take care of your beautiful wife. I know that she will love all the tips that we shared with you. Yes, Coach Samara said we love having you all here. We do. Thank you, Quentin. You're so welcome for sharing all the information. Jess, you're so welcome. Allie, I dropped you a message in VSC during the call. I got to jump off and go into Steve Irwin mode and medicate. Oh, okay, Bridget. Thank you so much. Go ahead and do your thing. I'll be in connection with you. Chanel, you're so welcome. I'm so glad that you stayed and you were here for this call. And it's so nice seeing you hop in on these calls and supporting all of us and learning so much information. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and hop off, and I will see you guys back in an hour for Coach Samara's call. You don't want to miss it. She has completely transformed her life, and she's done so much with herself, and she is a wealth of knowledge, and you guys are going to learn so much from her. So definitely check her out. And then you don't want to miss Coach Alexis later at 8:30 tonight. She is a very vibrant individual, and she brings the energy, and she's so fun and spunky and all the things. She will get you feeling good and feeling amazing, ready to go out and conquer the world. So you don't want to miss that either. All right, guys, I will see y'all later. Bye.